from early morning to 6 p.m. They show only entertainment and advertising.
I should tell our caller from Grand Rapids that that's exactly what we're doing here. All of this programming that you're seeing, and there's more to come this afternoon, was provided to us by the Ekran cable TV channel there in Moscow. And this program you're watching, Vitaly will take back with him to Russia, to Moscow, and they will show their audience this program. In addition to that, we're working with the cable system to try to provide a satellite downlink so that they can watch programs from here live, some of our call-in shows, and we can have an exchange via telephone and the WorldNet system as the future unfolds. And so in addition to what we're doing, I think that you'll find that people at this local cable system, and Steve Effros may have some ideas too, will be very interested in exchanging programs. Of course, the biggest difficulty we all have is this language problem. But you're going to solve that for us, aren't you?
Sure, without any doubt, yes.
Let's look at another clip, and you'll see a familiar face here. This is from an interview that was done by the Ekran Cable TV channel of the mayor of Moscow, Mr. Popov. Let's roll this.
Это значит, рано или поздно нам перестанут завозить мясо или молоко только потому, что кого-то что-то заставляли. Чтобы получить все это в Москву, мы должны сами что-то будем вывести, продать, иметь денег для того, чтобы заплатить, заинтересовать. Поэтому жить городу в рыночной системе, это значит, надо, предполагая покупать, надо знать, чем будешь торговать. Вот это, на мой взгляд, самая основная проблема будущей жизни города. И сегодня над ней в полной мере надо думать. Что мы можем предложить стране нужного ей? Я думаю, что все условия для того, чтобы жить в рыночных условиях, у Москвы есть. У нас огромные научно-технические центры в городе. Мы можем...
Vitaly, what is Mayor Popov saying? Can you recognize any of his conversation? Were you listening? Can you hear him?
Yes.
And how long has he been mayor of Moscow?
If I'm not mistaken, he has been 2 or 3 years a mayor of Moscow.
And he would come all the way out to this studio to be on this program? Or did they take their cameras to him in his office?
No, he came to the studio. He was invited again by this our local deputy to participate in an interview in the local cable television studio, and also people called him to ask him questions, and this part we are watching now. He is just making his introduction to meeting with the people. I mean, you can see on the left there is a deputy of our district and 2 other men on the right. They also represent executive power of our local.
We heard that Mayor Popov was resigning. Did he resign, and did he?
No, he changed his mind after a conversation with Yeltsin last week. He changed his mind, and he isn't gonna resign now, and he again will be a mayor of Moscow.
Videotape from the Ekran cable TV channel in Moscow, a cable channel that is seen by some 500,000 different apartments in and around what district?
Krasnogvardeyski. It's a very difficult name to pronounce, Brian. Krasnogvardeyski.
For Vitaly Shamov, let's take this call from Chicago, Illinois. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Vitaly.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you, I wanted to know what you think of the Soviet Jews that went to Israel, and because of the problems, of course, in Russia, how many Russians do you think will eventually end up leaving Russia and going wherever their relatives are around the world?
Thanks. Is the Soviet Jewish exodus to Israel a story that you see in your local newspapers? Or the when the Russian Jews go to, recently as they have gone to Israel, is that a big story in Moscow?
Not now. It was big stories 2 or even 1 year ago. But now it's an ordinary thing when people go abroad to live. They leave their places in the Soviet Union. And now, these days, nothing special on this question. And I think that people isn't interested in this kind of question no more. I mean, they are not interested who's gonna leave the Soviet Union, or or some people gonna stay there, because their life is so difficult, so tense, and people are interested in other issues, to how to get some food, how to support their families. And I think that not even these are the reasons why they're just not interested, but the thing is that it has become an ordinary business, that people leave, people come, and nothing special about it.
How hard was it for you to leave?
It was very complicated, and it's impossible, quite impossible, to buy a ticket from Moscow to the United States.
On Soviet Airlines?
Even on Soviet Airlines, yeah.
How much did it cost you to buy a ticket on Aeroflot to come here?
It cost me 6,000 rubles to buy a ticket, and 10,000 rubles to give a bribe to buy this ticket. And
who do you bribe?
A man who is responsible in Sheremetyevo International Airport. He occupies one of places, and I think that they have their own mafia there. It's really we cannot beat this mafia at all. It seems that they are eternal there.
So it cost you 16,000 rubles, 6,000 for the ticket.
Yes.
10,000 for a bribe.
For a bribe.
And 16,000 rubles equals less than $200 for a round-trip ticket from Moscow to the United States.
No, at that time, it cost me $200.
So it is about $200.
Yes.
And the regular price for Americans buying tickets on American Airlines would be somewhere close to $2,000. Let's take one more call, then we're going to show you some more video, and then Steve Effros will join us. He's the president of the Community Antenna Television Association, and he also was recently in Russia, where he taught the regulation of cable television and over-the-air broadcasting to a group of people who are thinking about getting in this business. New York City, go ahead, please.
Good evening, Mr. Lamb. In addition to the usual praise of C-SPAN, I'd like to praise the visual quality, the graphics. It's so clean and elegant compared to the usual commercial clutter.
Thanks.
My question for Vitaly, the conventional wisdom, the cliche that we keep hearing repeated over and over again, is that not having had private business for over 70 years, that the Russians won't know how to do it. And yet here you're showing us two psychologists and a city councilman have put together a cable television operation that in number of customers is equal to my system in Manhattan, which is financed by Time Warner. So I have the following questions. Where did they get the money for the equipment? Where did they get the amplifiers and the cable? And do they have to have a franchise or some kind of governmental permission to run those cables? And what was the politics of all that? I find it very interesting that the councilman is involved as well as the psychologist, and I await your answer with great interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Did you understand all that?
Where did they get money for this?
To start this cable channel.
Yeah. Of course, it's not enough to have only a private initiative to start this business, and they were given money by the people, first of all, in that district where they launched this program first. It wasn't spread at 4 districts where it's now can be seen by this cable studio. And it was, remember when we talked about the scale of these households, of the number of these households, they had, and that guy Dmitry Senetsky showed us on the map of Moscow several places. And of course, this cable TV programming was launched in one place, in one district. in one district, which contains about 20,000 people. 20,000 people, and they have to pay some fees to support their business. But it was also based on honesty. When they launched it, they didn't check. They couldn't check up if a family watches their channel or not, and they just put an advertisement that said that if you watch our channel, please make some fee to us. And I think that that one of the psychologists told me when we met them that we cannot check all the people who's watching us or not, but if we give an advertising and many people go and pay. And I think that it's not a majority of people, but it's about 30 or 40%.
I remember him telling us that they were going to put a scrambler on the back of the television sets that you needed to unscramble the picture, and that was supposed to happen right about now.
Yes,
this time of the
year.
From
the 2nd of January.
I might tell the caller that I remember our guest telling us that they had to get permission from the district in order to start this channel. And
it was easier for them to start the channel because among them, as I mentioned, it was a local deputy in Moscow City Council, and with his help it was much more easier to start this business.
And they also told us that there were 80 people that worked there, at least there were 80 people back in the end of October, early November, that worked for this channel, and they were asking if they'd made any money, and they said not yet, but they hoped that the first of the year they would start to make money from this. Go ahead.
May I remind, or may I add something? It's an independent television, and as the chairman of this TV cable studio told us, it is social television. It's not commercial television, but it's first of all it's dedicated to the families, to people, to entertain families at their homes. And that's why it worked well, and that's why they had less difficulties if they could launch, whether they could launch commercial television.
They also provided us with a copy of a documentary that they made. It was about 30 minutes long. We're going to show you 5, 6, 7 minutes of it right now as we bring on Steve Effros to talk more about regulation. This was made with VHS tape, VHS little recorders that they took down to the scene, and it speaks for itself. We'll watch it and come back, and Vitaly Shamov will still be with us, but Mr. Effros will join us, and we'll also go to your calls.
Эпиграф. В один прекрасный день к королевскому дворцу в Версале прискакал всадник на взмыленной лошади. Это был вестовой. Он явился к королю и доложил: «Сир, Бастилия пала». «Да это бунт!» — воскликнул Людовик. «Нет, сир, это революция».
О событиях 19-21 августа теперь известно почти все. Хронология провалившегося путча расписана едва ли не поминутно. Главных действующих лиц знаем поименно. Продолжая театральную